Hello and welcome to this video tutorial on the Scolia Home auto scoring system for your dartboard. This is the final one for a while until there's going to be some changes to the portal. So if any additional games come in or some additional features, I'll do a little video on those. But this one really is to sort of go into the data in the system and look at the kind of the statistics to see how you're performing, how you're getting on and developing, and then also the history, so you can have a look at those those data points in a bit more detail. So this, of course, is looking at your statistics from a user point of view. So if you log in with your profile, you're going to get your statistics. It's not going to really give you any feedback for anybody else, to what I understand. And then the history will obviously browse the games that have been played in the system, so we'll capture all of that data. You can access those obviously on these tiles, or if you look down the left-hand frame, you've also got the ability to click on history and statistics there. So let's just start on, let's go on the history bit first of all. So history, this records all of the games and the game time that you've had in the system, and you can see quite cleverly you can filter and sort on this information. So first of all, you've got your date, so you can jump to a specific date if you want. I don't know why they've got two calendar icons there. They both come with the same stuff. So you can sort of browse back to, I don't know, let's go to April 7th, for example, and we can see something in here as well in terms of the games. Or you just browse to today, and then that will show you obviously all the 43 games. Now, that's just based on X type from what I can see, X01. Next, what we can do is we can select what game we want to be looking at. So we can filter it down by your X01s, around the clock, Bob's 27, crickets, and then if you want absolutely everything, you just put on all type, and then this will show you all the information. So underneath there, you've got all of your particular games that you can drill into. We'll come onto this grid in a moment. Let's just finish at the top. So again, we can then look at the outcome, whether these were games that actually finished, but you can filter down on games that you actually won. You can filter on games that you've lost. Again, you can go on aborted, and then you got all games. What I would personally like to see is I'd like to be able to select everything, or have a choice. For example, I might want to see games that have been won and lost, but I don't want to see aborted games. I might not be interested there. So I think there could be some improvement around there, but nevertheless, you've got some good filtering options. And then finally, you can also look at the number of players. So we can sort of click on here and say anything that had 4 players. You can see I've never had 4 people play. 3 players we've had a few times, so we can see there. So you get some additional filtering options here as well, and you can obviously include those. When it comes to things like X01, what you also have here is it does show you some of the games that you've had online. So I can see here I've just played against my son, who believes he's Michael Van Gerwen. You can see I've played against the bots, and we can also see that I've played online against a number of people here as well. So it does show you some of the people that you've sort of played against, and you've got some nice little sort of flags here. So I can see a won there in amber, a aborted in grey, a lost in red. I think it would probably look a little bit nicer if they actually put the wins in green as opposed to amber or yellow, although that maybe that's a gold. Again, I'm just picking at straws here. But we can see here that this particular game that was won on the 7th of April, it was a game of 301. It was the best of 1 set. It was 3 legs, a single out, and then we're just getting some high level stats here. what time the game started at. So we were playing quite late, 20 to 9. It lasted for about 10 minutes. There was the high finish, and the average was about 53.1. So I could then drill into this, and then this will show me more of the detail for that particular game. So we've got some filtering options again. Of course, you've got the coordinates and you've got the heat map. We can look at all of the legs, and we can also look at them individually. So if I look at the first leg, you'll see the heat map and the stats slightly change according to that leg. And then again, if we look at the leg 2, sorry, we can see again all of that information has changed. So if you wanted to sort of compare how you done, you can see in the first one I won the first game there in 15 throws, and I also won the second one, but it took me a little bit longer. And then it then obviously puts it in all of the legs, and we then see I've won 2 of those legs, what my average was, what my first 6-star average was, because we were only playing 301. I believe when you go to 501 it will do the 9-dart average. My highest checkout there was 41, 34 throws. I mean, I hit a ton in one of those. And then we've got the score history there, so through to all of the each 3 rounds, what we dropped down to each time. It would be nice to have some drill down on there as well. What I would like to see is if I drilled on there, for example, it would show me which 3 darts, which the coordinates were for that particular throw. Again, we can look at those score history on the as per leg as well. So we can see in the second leg here, we can see my 3rd throw I was on 106 and dropped it down to 8. So there was my 102 throw there. Oh, actually can't add up. That was 98, wasn't it? It's my bad. Never mind. So a decent throw there. There's my plus 100 throw. Okay, so let me just jump out of that history. Let me jump into another one. Let's have a look at the aborted 501. So you can see there's a little bit more value in here because it's looking for a double out. So it does give you the 9-dart average, and it does show you your checkout rate there and your checkout percentage. Shows you your highest finish as well still. So that will be obviously your highest checkout. And let's switch out to a game of around the clock. So around the clock, you've got some more statistics there based on the game itself. So some of these were what we'd seen in the video tutorials for cricket. So when it captures the stats at the end, it just shows you exactly what you scored. And you can go into each sector there. So we can see here when I clicked on the 6, those were these were the throws for that particular one there when I was going around the clock. I guess that was what they were when I finally was successful. Let's bounce into Bob's 27, and we can see here again it shows us the scoring based on this particular game. So this one was a quick one, 8 minutes, fast and furious. Allowed negative scores, and we can see here that if I was playing against somebody as well, it would give you a placing. Means I was playing on my own here, that's why it's only just got 1. Scored 275, 13 hits there from the 63 throws, giving me a hit rate of 20%, just over. Managed to hit something twice in one go, which was obviously a success there. And then we've got our score history, so we can see that I was on the decline, then I bounced up with a throw, but then it was quite easy then with the higher darts. So 27 throws there, so that was what, 9. I was on number 9 there. So you can see that if you start missing, you start losing quite big points. But equally, if you hit those scores, you can start bumping the points up as well, particularly in the later stages as well when you get the higher numbers. And if we click on those, what does it do? So again, there's nothing on these from the score history. It would be nice to actually click on these and have something returned. But I believe that if you click on the sector, you do get some stats there. So we can see there's the 3 darts that were thrown at the double one. Nothing hitting there. Again, with the 2, we can see nothing there. Can't even see the 3rd red dot. And then let's have a look at something that actually perhaps scored. So yeah, let's have a look at 15. So we can see 15 was successful. We hit it twice and one just out there. And for that particular sector, it does start giving you your means and your median Euclidean distance there. So each time you click on those, it will pretty much go through the information based on that little form. So all of this is identical, I believe, anyway. Okay, let's have a look at cricket, and we can see here the game I just recently played on cricket. We just then get a heat map and saw what scores we got per round. So all pretty much stuff that you would get at the end of each game. It's all recorded in there, so you can actually track back and have a look. So if there was a particular game that you enjoyed, you have got it on track. There isn't no facility to reset or delete these, so once it's locked in the system, it currently is in there, and that's how it will be. I believe that I did put in a request to give you the option to start filtering or truncating or removing, but at this moment in time, that doesn't that isn't an option. That also rings true when you go to statistics. So we can see here as well in the statistics is based on me as a person and who I'm logged into, and it will look at the statistics at each game. So we can see here the XO1. It will include single games as well if you want to. So we can see here that I've had a total of 50 games, but if we include single games, that also takes it up to 56. But we will see here as well, it tells me how many have won, how many have been lost, how many have been aborted, and then from there it will give you a win rate. So it excludes the aborted games we can see. So from those 50 games, 10 have been aborted, so they've been omitted from this win rate. So the 24 that I've won and the 16 that I've lost counts up to 40 games. It's saying that 24 of those 40 games have won, giving me a 60% win rate. If we include the single games, that just goes up a little bit more for me as well. We'll see there as well, it talks about your best legs. So it is breaking it down on the individual games. So you can see I've played 170, I've played 301, and quite a few 501. I do play sometimes single out if I want a quick game just to play with something in between, I don't know, lunch break and whatnot. During lockdown, obviously, when my son and I were on our lunch breaks, we would sync those and have a few rounds, and sometimes have a quick single out as opposed to a double out. But you'll see there, best darts. I'm far from being Phil Taylor. As you can see on the double out there, it took me 31 darts. That was my best double out. Obviously, if I want to start looking half decent, I think I need to be sort of sub 25. And if I can get it down to the 15 and the 20s, then who knows? I might have a newfound career. And then we can see some statistics here. So it is showing me my highest finishes and some of my high scores. We can see that, strangely enough, when I have it switched on, I haven't actually got a 140 registered or a 180. I have done some of those, but I haven't registered them in the Scolia board at the moment. So that is something I need to do. And then the highest finishes, we've got a single out there and we double out. So when I've been doing a double out, my highest checkout there has been 59. Again, I've had some higher checkouts than that, but unfortunately, I haven't had the system switched on at that time, which is a shame. But nevertheless, it is what it is. And then, based on all of these games, it gives you some main stats. So, my first 6 or 9 dot average, what I'm averaging in general, and obviously my checkout percentage. None of that obviously looks like it's changed or affected whether it's a single game or not on there. And then going into around the clock, again we can see you can include single games there, so games I've played on my own, and it just shows you how many throws, how many games I've had. We can see the hit rates, best games, the medians, and statistics by sector. And I believe that we can hit these as well. So if I look at those, it is changing the hit rate for each of those. And if we're doing it on a double, which I haven't played much on, got the 14 there. If we can just concentrate on the single, and it looks like we have an option to drop down and colour it by median as well. I don't know why I keep on saying median, but you know what I mean. That's quite useful, because if I look at the mean Euclidean distance, I can start seeing where the colours I'm getting a little bit better or worse. So it looks like if it's red, it means I'm going too far out, and if I'm going on the green, it means I'm getting a little bit better to what I need to be. So we can see here as well, I think probably the green is 17 or the 15. So we can see both of those are giving me 15 and 15.6. This one is probably a little bit higher. And then if we look at something like the ball, far further out there, and so forth. We can also look at these at the horizontal, and again we can see that from a horizontal point of view. So you know the across, we can see that I've been doing not too bad. A couple of these are a little bit further afield, and then if we look at the vertical, I think we're seeing a little bit better, maybe with the vertical. So I'm getting the line right. I've just got to get a little bit more accurate from left to right to get it more center. So my up and down is more centralized, but my left and right is a little bit whack. Up to 27. So again, I haven't had many games of this, and just to sort of show you the statistics, we can see there it's just got a couple of games or a couple of single games, and my win rate, well, that was going to be straightforward, being playing on my own. And then it's giving you your best games. So 27 points is the standard there, and you can see that when I was allowing a negative score, my best score was 275. Overall hit rates there 10.2. So I think I showed you how to do a calculation on the hit rate, which I believe is just your hits divided by your throws and times it by 100 to get you the hit rate. Then we've got the averages there, and again we can look at these individually per sector, and we can obviously colour it by hit rate or the medians there as well. And then finally, the cricket stats. We can see I've got 40 games there in the bag, 2,513 throws, so plenty of throws at the board. Giving some main stats of mark per round, points per round, and we've got a little thing there which applies to standard game only, so it's not including the cutthroat. Again, with the hit rate, I trust that's down to standard throw as well, but hit rate is calculated by dividing your successful throws and your total throws. Successful throws are those throws that resulted in marks or points. So a little bit of information by clicking on these. So we can see here with the best games here, the lowest score and the highest score. So the highest score is based on your standards, and your lowest score applies to cutthroat game mode only. I'm doing the fewest darts. Some percent a pie there just to show you the game modes. We can see that I've been playing more standard than cutthroat. and then we're looking at the points per sector, and we can see total points, how many of it there. So 2,400 points in the 20, and points per game. I'm guessing that is some kind of adding all of these up, and then we're looking at the high points there. So typically when I play cricket, I do aim for the 20s first of all. My son, being smaller in height, he likes to aim for the lower part of the board, but I aim pretty much usually at the 20 and the 18 in the first instance. Right, okay, so that's pretty much why I wanted to show you today. So hopefully I've covered all ground in the Scolia Home portal for your board. So as I say, just to finally summarize, you've got your local game, you've got your online games, and then you've got your tiles for your boards to manage your Scolia devices. For the most part, you probably only have one, unless you've got some kind of game center where you may have a couple there. And then you've got your statistics and your history. Clicking into those, as I say, you've got some options to go through the various games that you're playing, and then you'll see on the final game of cricket there are some little pointers just to tell you what that means as well. So it might be quite good to start seeing these popping up in different parts, just to sort of help the experience when using the portal. But I trust this has been useful, and if there's anything you'd like to see in terms of a video about the Scolia that I have missed out in the 5, 6, 7 or so that I've recorded, please put them in the comments. Please like, subscribe, all of that jazz. I know I'm a million miles away from being a YouTuber, but that is never the intention. If it grows, great, but it's more, as I say, more of a sort of a sharing user experience. So thank you for watching, and as mentioned, if you've got any other ideas, drop them in the comments and I will do my utmost to record them for you. Thanks again, and see you on the next video.